So how about them aliens?
Yeah. Okay. So the last thing, though, I just want. So we were. What was it? Do you want to talk about the Egyptian pyramids? Is that how we want to end this?
We could say that for another podcast.
It'll be great when Aaron comes on.
All right.
We're talking about
because we can get into some big brain conspiracies. Because it's going to be a debate. Did the aliens come down and build them pyramids, or did they come in, I guess, humanoid form, like you were saying, and help influence? Like aliens were like influencers in this time period, and like they came down and they were talking with Cleopatra and the OGs,
and also
giving them the info on how to design it based off of their alien technology.
Well, I mean, that also brings up a good point. All these things we just talked about tonight, all these events, were they influenced by these ancient aliens? Did they have some long-term effect on this?
So I think remember I brought this up before, but I think it's what's more likely, right? Are they influenced by aliens or the ancient civilizations that actually exist? It wasn't like discrete, but that civilization's actually been going on for a longer time, and these structures exist because they were in spots that were not wiped out by global catastrophes. Like that's what's remaining from. That was just the newest one, or right? A lot of these things, right? Remember, and where is all civilization around the water, right? And the coastline, and the coastline is the most fluctuating thing when you have polar caps melting and building and melting and building, and the sea level rises, and tons of these ancient civilizations that created this, not generated this knowledge, are just not. We don't see them anymore because it's gone. It's wiped.
When you're talking about the water levels rising, are you talking about Atlantis?
Mm-hmm. It's in the ocean. Dude, Atlantis, man. Yeah, I'll talk about Atlantis, man.
Yeah, at the next podcast.
All right. Because I'm saying, I'm ready for a head-to-head. I want to brawl smackdown with this. And I think Aaron...
And our special guest, Aaron, will be there.
There's a lot of evidence for Atlantis, dude.
Yeah.
Seriously, have you ever looked it up, dude?
Easter Islands.
The king of Atlantis, his name was Atlas. So that's why.
Okay.
That's where that word Atlas comes from.
And that's why he shrugged.
Kind of like the Greek
mythology,
or no?
Okay.
Atlas was the king of Atlantis. And there's actually and there's these old maps, right? That have been. So maps are really foundational to our understanding of the old world, right? And there's some pretty old maps that actually seriously that had. I think we had talked about this, but a lot of those ancient libraries were destroyed.
Oh, ancient libraries, yeah.
Right, and that contained all these information and maps, right? So there's one you can buy. I looked it up on Amazon because I wanted to get it, but it's a piece of a map that they found. It's about maybe a fifth or a fourth that they estimate exists of the map remaining, and it shows the coast of South America and the coast and Africa and a little bit of Europe, right? So it's showing that and this was back from the early 1400s that they found that this guy, I guess he had taken older maps and put them together, right? So it even not only did it already show south that there was this other place other coastline South America, which we credit to Christopher Columbus, right? The people already knew about this, but also in northwestern Africa, around where you were, Josh, in around Senegal, I don't know, but it's this ring of, they call it the Eye of Africa. I think you can look it up. And on this map in the same area is it's now in a desert area, right? But had been covered with water in previous times, and it's these concentric rings, right? Which is the first mention of Atlantis is from Plato, right? And he tells about this civilization that was built around these concentric rings, right? That were water in between them. And he mentions it. It's like, and the date was like something like 11. It would be 11,600 years from now, right? From like from now.
Gotcha.
And that's the crazy thing is that's the time period when we think that the land bridge, right?
Oh, yeah.
So like this going over to switching to another part of the world where the land bridge that connects Asia to Africa, Asia to the Americas, flooded back up. So everybody that was in North America now could no longer get there. You know, so it's like at the same time, think about what happened. You know, if that happened up there, there was probably other places that also got flooded in the world because of these melting ice caps that led to warming of the earth, the agricultural revolution, right? Because now you have this warming period that we're still experiencing now. I mean, it's crazy how so it's like this idea of Atlantis. It's crazy. It's not as far fetched as I once thought it was. Because I think look it up on your computer. I think it's called the Eye of Africa.
I'll look it up. I'm intrigued to discover more about this topic.
Really,
because the idea that there could be a civilization that's underwater completely.
Well, maybe it was underwater,
feasible.
but it's not now. Maybe it was, and now it's not. But that's what I mean. Like, but there's a lot of civils. Yeah, that's what the idea of what you're saying. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's crazy. I never. Yeah, I mean. You can't be, it's like I consider myself a very skeptical person, but you can't be overly too skeptical to where you miss out on some things that could be realities. I mean, you got to be looking at everything all the time, credibility, bias wise, but you got to also keep an open mind and what's more, is it so unlikely that there could be civilizations that existed that we don't know about and that civilization didn't just start in Samaria? That as all the it's like
so that the debate's going to be you talking about ancient civilizations versus ancient aliens. Who created the goddamn pyramids? I think that could be a an interesting.
That's my response to it.
Okay. I'm just saying I'm intrigued to see if Aaron could come up with a good retort. You think he'd be able to go?
Well, I think yes.
Toe to toe. No head.
I hope it's just a.
I'm anticipating.
I mean, it's our.
You did make a good case right there. Yeah.
It is our story, right? We're all descendants of these people that lived time ago, and that's our family. That's our tree.
Right.
To me, that's that's the greatest story. Is like the story of this species who was just a tiny rodent size living around the time of these giant reptiles that lived on the earth, and because something that happened in space millions and millions of miles away knocked an asteroid out of place, out of the belt, and it came and smashed into Earth and destroyed 90% of life on it in a day to 3. They think now it's like a day to 3 days. It didn't happen over this long period of time that they thought before, but it's like something that outside of the Earth can influence life on Earth, and now we it's
almost like a circular thing, which is just brought up because you brought up the point that external elements from the universe came down on Earth and brought these elements to Earth that helped form life, and so it's
take away life. Or take away life.
Or take away life.
Could there be both though? Is that you're saying? Could it be ancient civilizations plus ancient aliens?
It brought life and it destroyed life.
The ancient alien, I think, is like the manipulation of the the growth on Earth.
It's doubting
carbon-based units, if you will.
It's thinking it's anybody saying that is like they're doubters of humans' power, human ingenuity, human abilities to.
I believe something it could not be feasible through a human mind. It has to be something that's out in space that came here. They gave it to us because we're too, we wouldn't be capable of living on Earth.
That's how I even look at climate change now too. It's like you're doubting the power that we have to influence our whole planet. Like we are strong, man. We are powerful. We did that. Like look at it that way for a while. Like we industrialized
the history of the Earth.
We influenced
in only 100 years.
We're not the first. I mean, we're not the first organisms to influence our Earth, our atmosphere, right? Like Earth, when Earth first started, it was deplete of oxygen. It was cyanobacteria and stuff that gave us all that.
like sulfur. We were sulfur.
Yeah.
Like there was no oxygen, water.
Oh yeah. So I don't know. So for our next podcast, are we going to? Are we wrapping up the aliens talk though? Is this like? Are we putting the nail in it?
I think we just entered it
That would be the all-out blowout.
for Aaron.
Down.
Okay, because like I mean I'm I came in here as the the neutral enlightened centrist that was just going to kind of reflect on your guys. It's just unfair that Aaron, our expert on
he's
alien
saving his energy.
Paleontologist.
Paleontologist,
Blowout
yeah,
podcast.
that he wasn't here to kind of. So I mean, I'll give him room for the following podcast to give him a chance to
I don't
make his
think he
case.
will. I have a feeling you have something to say against him. You know, his thoughts. I feel like there's going to be a nice discussion next podcast.
Josh beat Aaron.
Aaron wasn't here.
Aaron did not show.
He pussied out a
he's,
smidge just because he knew he was going to be debating a Titan, Ryan,
Yes.
on this topic,
Yeah.
and he soaked his britches when he came to the
see
idea
Ryan
of
as
having
the,
getting into a
X
debate.
Factor, though.
I came
Yeah.
ready.
Scientific
I
mumbo
was
jumbo
so-
coming
Yeah, you came in with you came in ready, dude. I could sense it, the energy.
We got
You're
a lot.
ready to
We got a lot to bring up when Aaron comes on next time.
yeah
Or 2
Okay.
weeks from now, whenever that is.
next Sunday.
yeah.
Yeah. All
So
right.
interesting.
All right. If you like what we talked about tonight, please hit the like button and subscribe and leave a comment. I'll leave it back to our host, Ryan Delpy.
Is he the host?
You're the host.
That commie bastard's the goddamn host.
I'm
What?
the
Signed off.
announcer. You need an announcer. You need a host.
Like, what is this?
The
The price is
observer?
right? This is not
You
the
need
price.
the person that's missing.
My dream.
I'm red-blooded American.
You need that
So we
person
got-
you're anticipating who will arrive at the next podcast.
All right.
You need that observer.
I'll stop this
Intro-
recording.